This podcast is produced by Sunnydale Studios.
I don't want just anybody. Let me treat you like somebody. Try to dive on a Rari. It's forever, we ain't stopping.
Hello, lovers. Welcome to episode 2 of season 2, Big Love Energy, the podcast. I'm your host, Jesselou. I'm so excited for you to listen to today's episode. We thought we would follow up last week's episode, which we've had so much great feedback about, with getting a medium on the show and doing a live reading. I actually put a call out on my Instagram. We wanted someone that, I had no links with, would have no idea who I was, and gave them a very short timeline to be like, okay, you're going to be on the show, you're going to do this live reading, go. And we had so many people reach out and say, medium Hayley, she's on the Gold Coast, she's amazing, get in touch with her. So I did, and within literally 12 hours of me putting out that call out, I sent medium Hayley a message, and she reached out literally like an hour before the show was to record. I was sweating bullets that it wasn't going to come together, but in the end pulled it together. She did a live reading and absolutely knocked my socks off. I can't wait for you to hear it. We've got it at the end of the episode, but straight up, I've just on the second day we recorded some questions that I just had for her in general about spirituality and listening to the science of the universe, because I, for one, know that I get certain numbers thrown at me all the time, and I just wanted to delve into that and discuss what that could mean, what the energy is behind it, for some good listening today. So we'll start off with that, some questions, and then we'll get into the live reading, but I cannot wait for you to hear what she had to say. Let's get into it. Hello, welcome Hayley. Thank you for coming back today for episode 2, season 2 of Big Love Energy. I'm just going to put it straight out there. Yesterday when we connected, straight away we did a live reading, just because obviously with social media and being out there, we wanted to get just a raw reading from you, and you did not disappoint. It was like, I'm still buzzing and still have taken so much from that reading, and we will share it at the end of this episode with the listeners. But today is all about getting to know a bit more of about you and how you ended up where you are, doing what you do, the amazing work you do, and a little bit of guidance for the listeners who are open to learning a bit more about leaning into their spiritual side, taking pointers from a higher being, higher energy, and the spirit guides, and how they show up. So I, for one, love it all and am a big believer, very much so, especially now, even more so after yesterday, holy. But yeah, I just can't wait to hear what you have to say with the experience you have, and get to know you a bit more. So welcome, Hayley.
Thank you for having me. It's very exciting to be back.
Yeah.
I had so much fun yesterday reading for you. And funny thing, because you posted something on your social media, my friends were like, oh my God, I follow her. Oh my God, she's amazing. And been sending me voicemails all morning.
Oh, that's awesome. So good. Yeah. And likewise, when I posted that last night, they were like, I said, thank you everyone who reached out and said that, get in touch with medium Hayley. I said a big thank you, a blanket thank you. And they were like, yeah, isn't she amazing? And they all had personal stories of your readings that you'd done for them, that you were just so spot on and so gifted. So yeah, just mutual love all around. So you're sitting in your car that people will see, and that is because you're currently traveling around Australia in a caravan with your beautiful family. Tell us firstly, a bit about yourself, where you're from, and how you've got to where you are today doing what you're doing.
Okay. Well, I'm Hayley. I'm from New Zealand, as you can probably hear. I have lived here in Australia for, I think, 7 or 8 years now, and it's been amazing. I love it here. I have no plans to go back home. So when I was around the age of 6 years old, I saw my first person who had crossed over, which was my grandmother. She was beautiful. She was in her 90s, and I that was my grandma, and so her daughter, my nana, we were staying with her at the time, and I would go to my nana and I would ask her questions about my grandma, and I said I can see her, and she just sort of brushed it off as if I was just a young kid thinking I could see my grandma. But I started going back to my grandma, persistent on trying to get some information so I could prove to my nana that I could see her. So I would go back and forth, and I would ask them really personal questions, and then my nana started to cotton on, what on, you can't really know this type of thing. So that's kind of where it started. And then as I got older, I had two very great parents who helped me throughout my spiritual journey, if you'd call it that. And they were very encouraging of things. I would go to school, I would write down people's aura beside their name, almost like, look, Mum, you know, you're so proud of what you'd done.
Yeah.
I used to try and teach my sisters how to read auras. So we always were having a house built. So we were always crammed in some room while our house was being built. And I would put my hand up in the sky, in the air at night, and I'd wave it around, and I'd say to my sisters, can't you see that? And they were like, no. And I just thought that we could all see those things. So it's been there for such a long time. Like I remember we were in this new house. It was beautiful. And there was two ladies in the laundry, and whenever I'd go down there, they would tease me and taunt me and be silly. They were two sisters who had crossed over, and I called them the laundry ladies. And one day I was off to college. I just started college, and I said to my mum, just don't go in the laundry, Mum. Seriously, those laundry ladies are really acting up today. And Mum was like, oh my God, I have to go back there with these spirits in the house. So it was just a very interesting upbringing, I suppose, for all of us, myself included. And sort of what they had to put up with, but it was really good. So fast forward to today, I'm now living in Australia. We wanted more opportunity, and Australia to Kiwis often is the land of opportunity, which it was. And we came over here. I had no client base because I'd left it all back home. So I can't remember how I started getting into readings again here, but I did. And before I know it, I had this beautiful, like, word of mouth clients that had started coming my way, which was awesome. And then my sister pushed me to start an Instagram, I think about 3 years ago. And here we are.
So good.
Now traveling around Australia doing it. So like when I stop in certain states, I notify like on my page where I am. And so I can have in-person readings. So I get to meet people all across Australia, which I would never have met otherwise. So far, so good.
So good. And you do live readings from on the road too, so people can still get in touch with you, and you do readings virtually, basically. Is that right? That's so amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I do email readings and phone readings, and if the Wi-Fi is good, a video call. But yeah.
So cool. Oh, that's the more that you get to spread your gift, the better, I say. So that's amazing. And how is caravan life going?
Hectic. 3 kids, a husband, and a Rottweiler. It's interesting, especially on rainy days. We just want to get outside. But it honestly, like, as you have those constant pinch me moments, like, I'm doing this, we're doing this, you know, you feel like you've got a deeper purpose, and that's what we love about it, I suppose. Yeah.
Oh, so inspirational. It's just the best. So I want to talk about signs and messages from a higher place, in specifics, numbers and animals. I find that I'm constantly getting the message 34. I have done for about 3 years. It just pops up in really specific ways, whether it's like, you know, something quite significant like the 34, or whether it's at the petrol pump, you know, lands on 34 cents every time that the tail end of the dollar price, and or like time. I'll be looking at timestamps, and it will just literally be 34 like, and I know that you can sort of attract it because you're more aware of it. Like once you become more aware of it, you're like, oh, it's just coincidence that, you know, you think about it when you see it, you're like, that's showing up heaps. But is there something behind it? Is there what is it? Is it real? What is it?
Yes, so angel numbers are a really great and direct way for our angels and our guides and our loved ones to come through and let us know that they're there. So 34 is all about transformation, change, coming from a dark place and coming into somewhere a lot lighter and a lot more at ease. And really 34 is a number for people who've just pretty much gone through it and coming out on the other side. So it's a beautiful number for that reason. 1111 is a very, very common number that a lot of us see. So that's just that validation and that confirmation. We're here, we're with you, everything's okay. Threes usually are financial success numbers. So if you see threes and things, financially we're on the right path. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
But twos are another common one.
And who's sending the messages? Is it someone specific? Like what is it? How is it showing up? Like who's that? Who?
Yes, who's on the other line of this? It is our loved ones, it is our angels, it is our guides. So when you see yourself as just you, I see yourself as you plus your guides behind you, plus your loved ones behind you. So you have this like spirit team. And when we are sort of veering off of our track, let's say, they're going to go, hey, we're here, do this, move here, shuffle over this way. They're trying to give us a little message of confirmation that we're on the right path most of the time. And if we're not, they'll send us some bigger signs. So I've always noticed, like, say you're driving home one day and you always turn left to go home. No matter what, you always turn left. But for some reason, that one time you had this pull to turn right. It was a long way around. We don't want to go there, but we just did it. And you do. So you go right. And then you get home and you find out on the news there was a car accident and it was where you would have driven if you'd have turned left. It's that feeling. It's that intuition. That's where they come through. They are often intercepting moments where we're not supposed to be in. And when we ignore those feelings or signs or messages, then they're going, come on, we're trying to connect with you. And they'll keep coming in other ways. But their job is to look after us. Yes, the lessons will come. Yes, sometimes the lessons aren't going to be in the nicest way. Sometimes they can be a bit full on, but that's their job, is to look after us. So our loved ones and our guides and our angels.
And so with animals, for me it's Crow, like, and even after like yesterday having the reading, it was so like, I literally, for me, it's the way it shows up is in crows. And at first I always thought that was really quite a negative connotation. I'm like, they're quite dark. So they, quite often represent darkness, I feel, in movies and that sort of thing. But I've been told in the past that they're actually quite positive. And it was so funny, the morning of the reading, I had a crow come up to me as I was working on my laptop outdoors. A crow came up to me, and so what is that a coincidence that happened? Like, is that what's that?
Crows are just the top tier animal to receive. So crows are the all-seeing eye. They are helping us tap into our psychic side, our spirituality. Crows and most birds are all messengers, so they are here to bring us a message from the other side. So depending on the bird, depends on the message. Crows are very direct. They're letting you know everything's okay, you're safe. And also to just look at your surroundings. So when you see a crow, it's important to go, right, what am I doing? What am I thinking? What have I been asking the universe for? What is this message, And that can be the hard part, is translating the message from the sign. But the more you sort of practice at it and the more you start to tune in, the more it sort of makes sense as well, the more it's easier to interpret.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Oh, it's just goosebump stuff.
We magpies are another spiritual animal as well, which they bring good news. And I'm like, that's interesting, because they swoop us, but they bring good news. Yeah,
they're very, very aggressive with their messaging. Amazing. So what is it, do you think it is about your profession that people want to access? Like, even if they don't completely believe or all in, why do people seek on psychics help? Like, I know I've had one reading in the past ever, and it was at a time when I was just like I was just like, please give me some sort of sign that I am, okay, on the right path. Or even if I'm not on the right path, you're clinging onto something, hopefully that they can give you some sort of light. Is that the norm? Is that what you find people come to you looking for.
Absolutely. And I think you nailed it there as well. That's exactly why people come from a place of just sheer desperation to get an answer, whether it's for their relationship or their job or what their next endeavor may be. People come when they're really run out of options. Yes, my friends are there. Yes, I've got my therapist, whatever. Sometimes that's just not enough. You need that higher guidance. And it's interesting, I get a lot of skeptics come through with readings, and I don't mind. Like, I don't mind at all. And it's good to have a healthy level of skepticism, I suppose, anyway. But they're still going, they've still made that step to come and see you. So there's a part of them that's going, I do want to know something, but,
just in case.
Exactly, just in case you've got something. And, they always walk away going, yes, I know what I need to be doing. I know where I'm headed. And that's the best outcome you can hope for a reading. You want to be able to give someone that closure or the guidance or a little bit of clarity in themselves as well.
Yeah.
Not all of us know what we're supposed to be doing. A lot of us are winging it in life, We want the job and the kids and the house and those things. And some people don't. There's some people who are seeking meaningful experiences, like who will go off the beaten track and they just want that pat on the back to know, hey, I'm okay, eh? I know I'm not doing everything else that everybody else is doing, but I'm okay.
Yeah.
I get a lot of people come to check in on their relationships is a big one. A lot of people to check in that financially they're going to be okay. There's a lot of value put on financial status, I've noticed. And that's where people's goals lay. It's probably the second most common reason for somebody to come and get a reading with me, at least, is to check on their finances.
And with that, so I suppose if you're seeking guidance and you speak to guides, I suppose you're just the messenger,
I'm the go-between.
Right?
Yes,
okay, that makes sense. And why how do psychics come about? Like, what is it? Are you magic? Is it
just magic? I think. I think it's just magic. No, I feel like there's people put on this earth to help others. Just like all of us have a role to play in this world, and there are a lot of healers being born into this world at the moment now, because our world is needing that more so than ever. A lot of things are going on around us. We need that love. We need that support, and that's where healers and psychics and doctors as well, like medicine workers, whatever, they're all being called upon now to sort of help. There's a bit of you might feel this, there's a bit of a low vibration going on at the moment, perhaps with everything that's just been happening, and our job being called upon is to lift that up. So there's a lot of work going on with psychics at the moment, and I'm noticing there's a lot of psychic burnout at the moment too, because of how much people are putting back in, which is awesome, but sad that it gets to that point. So we've got to make sure we're having those breaks and in between as well.
What do you have any advice if someone thinks that they've got that ability but have just ignored it or squashed it down? Is there a way to sort of tap into that, to sort of harness it? What do you do?
That's so cool, because there absolutely is. There are so many people, and I get messages every day saying, I think I have something. And nobody wants to outright say, I think I'm a psychic, because it's almost like, I can't say that. I can't put myself. And it's unspoken about. So there's so many things we can do. If you're feeling that you are psychic, or you're feeling something, or you have that pull, I would absolutely recommend starting at meditating. That's the best place you can begin. When we meditate, we connect with our guides, and when we form that strong connection with our guides, their messages are a daily awareness for us that we can tap into like that when we need it. So having that strength there, that strong bond, is going to help you throughout your daily life. Once you've got that, I would recommend going to an Eddie point, but recommend going to your local spiritual groups. There's meditation groups all over the Gold Coast when I was living there. And I would go along to them, and they were such good value to be around like-minded people, to see how other people do things, because no one psychic is the same. We're going to all see something, and the way we'll interpret will be different. I might say, I can see a house with a red door. Someone else might say, I see a beautiful white cottage with a red door and a beautiful grassy field. And each person will have their own interpretation of what they're seeing. So being around others doing it's pretty cool as well. So
Amazing.
definitely do something. Meditating, go to your local groups would be a great place to start.
Oh, there you go, listeners. If you think you've got something going on, that's the first step. I was going through your reels. I love your page, and there was a reel that stood out to me, and it was hilarious in the way it was like things that I like about being a medium and things I dislike. And the things that you liked were, learning about crystals and their power, and then connecting with loved ones from the past. But then the dislikes were actually quite scary. And I just want to know if there's any truth behind it in the way that you do get frightened by your ability sometimes. Have you been in any hairy situations where you're like, oh, this is a burden sometimes?
Definitely. I've been in plenty, and it kind of comes with the role. I don't think you can really escape that. And I don't think you really want to as well. We've got to understand there's a healthy level of darkness and lightness, and the shadow work, we call it, is important to go through. Yep, I have done house clearings where spirits didn't want to budge. I've had spirits look at me through the mirror and smirk at me, confidently knowing that, yeah. I've had a few things. Spiritual paralysis is a real common one, where if a spirit is wanting to get through to you and you're just sort of ignoring them, they will hold you down. That's very, very common. A lot of people go through that and go, oh my God, is this normal? It's like, it is, and you can prevent it. So just making sure you've got those protection in place, whether it's cleansing your home regularly, crystals by your front door, saying a prayer at night is a really good one. It sounds really strange to say this using a word of religion, but I'm going to say this as well. If you find yourself in a position where you have something negative or an entity around you, something that just won't leave you alone, saying the word Jesus is a really great word to use to get rid of them. If we scream at spirits, sometimes they can get a bit pushy. So using the word Jesus, leave me alone, and saying his name is really important. You don't have to be religious at all. I'm not. But that word, and this is what my sister, she's such a spiritual guru, I tell you, that word she's helped me with so many things. That word is so energetically charged from everybody who uses it all over the world, that holds so much power. So it's not necessarily what it represents, it's the word itself,
the energy
what it
behind
holds.
it.
So yeah.
It makes so much sense. Oh my gosh. Speaking of crystals, I own a store and we sell crystals. It goes hand in hand with the poetry, I feel. And when I was going through my stuff a few years earlier on is when I really leaned into them. Like I knew of them. I wasn't like a full advocate for them, but my kids were. They loved it. But for me, I was just, a bit too busy, and people's like, they're just rocks. It's so easy to get caught up in everything. And so but then it wasn't until I really leaned on them myself when I was going through, you get so desperate for anything, any sort of help and guidance along the way. I started really using crystals in my healing journey, whether it was holding it as I went to sleep at night or putting it under my pillow. I just felt safe, and I could feel the power and energy of just something so simple. Like, what is that? They aren't just rocks, are they? Like, what are crystals, and what's your thoughts behind them?
Yes, crystals are like my go-to. They're like my medicine cabinet. What do I need? What I need to feel better today? Let me pick what I want. Crystals are just these natural resources that we were gifted, and I'm so grateful for them. They hold so much energy, and their properties are meant to heal you. So whether it's healing your thoughts or past traumas, some crystals help with pregnancy and fertility. So they all play a role, and they're just energetically charged. And I personally use them all the time. I especially use them when I travel to new places, and if I'm doing a reading somewhere new, I will always take a black crystal. So either obsidian or black tourmaline is a great one as well. It just keeps out the energy you don't want to come in. Remembering when we're opening up that gateway for your guides to come through, we want to make sure no one else is coming through that we don't want, and we can put those prayers in place, and they're really helpful. But crystals just add that extra. It's like putting a bouncer outside of a pub. That's what I see my crystals, putting that little bit of protection that we need.
Protecting that energy. Oh, so
they're
amazing. Yeah. Even to this day, my Jace, he definitely my eldest. He's collected them forever, but my youngest really every night helps me choose a crystal from his own collection. And he's like, Mum, what do you want to hold tonight as you fall asleep? And I just love it. It makes so much sense to me, and I lean on them so much. And I think they're just little magical beings. So, okay, that's it for my questions. Thank you so much for clearing a lot of that up. I hope the listeners took what they need and a bit more whether they're fully into it or, being a bit swayed. I just think your energy and the way you describe it, you can't really argue with what you have to say. And then I think also because I know the reading that happened yesterday, I just cannot believe the accuracy. I can't, it's just, you're so gifted. And I've walked away just feeling lighter, knowing that, it's not just me that feels like, you can feel that you're on the right path and you think you can have the right people around you. But there's always that, self-sabotage, that negative, feelings that come in, or that imposter syndrome. So I think just having someone with that clarity to be like, no, that you're on the right path. It's just so positive and so healing. So thank you for that. And I just cannot wait for the listeners to hear this next bit. We've pre-recorded it from yesterday. As we said, we just needed to get it done as soon as we sort of connected. And then the first 30 seconds, the recording glitched a bit, so it is missing, but then it goes straight into it. So we're going to play that next. And but I just want to say thank you so much, Hayley, for coming on 2 days in a row and taking the time amongst your travels to share your knowledge and your gift. And I can't wait for the followers to connect with you, because I no doubt they're just going to eat you up. You're just so divine, and I think that there's just so much there for people to sort of tap into your beautiful gift, and for those who really need it. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I can't wait to keep following your journey as you travel around Australia and share your light. So all the best, and we'll get into this reading.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys, strap in. We are going to go into the live reading. Like I said, there's about 30 seconds missing at the start, but we go straight into it and you'll get the gist. It gets really full on really quickly. And again, just prefacing it with, this is completely raw. I'd literally met Hayley over the phone literally half an hour before this. So this is just so amazing what comes up. But enjoy.
Okay. Where was I? Right into the heavy stuff. Start there. So yes, I saw this little black dot there. And when I was trying to pull it apart, I saw a lot of childhood trauma. And I keep looking, I'm trying to figure out which parent it was. Sorry if this is too heavy, but I don't.
No.
Yeah. And I was like, it's both of them. It feels like both of them. More so mum. Mum was an interesting woman. Yes, she loved being a parent, and she was a good parent to a degree, but there's like a big emotional detachment there. And it's like, you were this, I can see you now, you were this free spirit, wild, love colors, love exploring, and you were just this vibrant soul. And that was what was hard. That was the difficult thing, because she really struggled to do that, shape you, box you, put you in a category that she could understand. You were just too amazing, too beautiful, too vibrant. And it's not that she didn't want you to be all those wonderful things. It's just that she wasn't allowed to be those wonderful things. And then she had kids. And when she saw her kids being what she wanted to be, that did deeper triggering for her as well. And I feel like it really was related to her own experiences in life. So again, it wasn't that she didn't like you or anything like that. She loved and loves you, but it was, it went back for her.
Yeah.
It's almost like you guys have, I don't think you guys have a relationship anymore, because I can see there's this broken, like severed relationship there. So I'm sorry if you are back together, but I will just say this: if you're not back together, that is a good thing. No offense. Most people will say, no, heal those relationships. No way. This person isn't able to offer you what you're looking for, that closure you think you'll get one day. It is not there. And it's not through her not wanting to give it, it's through her not knowing how to give it. The tools that a lot of us have, she just simply doesn't. And if we can see her as the child version she is, then we're okay. We know we can actually empathize with her. And so what we'll do is we'll look at her and we'll say, I'm so sorry you're going through that. I'm so sorry you've had that, but that's not for me. I will love you from here, but that's all I can offer. So just know that it is okay not to have that going on now. So when a lot of your lessons came through childhood, you learned them, you put your hand up to learn them pretty quickly in your soul contract, that's for sure. A lot of unhealthy upbringing there, but you've gone, nah, I'm not doing that. There's more of you. There must be more kids, more siblings, because all of you are doing strive high. What is it? Big achievers, overachievers. It's almost a way for you to go, well, I'm okay. Look what I've done. Look how far I've come. You guys really needed to get that off your chest. You needed to do better, and you have. So, yeah. I don't mean this offensively. This is actually a compliment. What you are, you're a spiritual person too. You're a healer. I don't know if you know that enough. But that's what you do. Yes. Okay. Yes, in your work. Yes, but in your words are your healing. That's where it is. That's where the goodness is. And that's where mum and dad, particularly mum, struggle, because you are constantly healing her. Nah, no, you will not. But you do that now in your everyday job, your daily life. No wonder have you got all boys?
Two boys, one sister.
2 boys, 1 sister. 2 boys, 1. First one was a boy?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know why you were given him? He was your protector. He was
my kids or
your kids.
I've got two sons.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Two sons. An older one?
Yeah.
Quite older?
Yeah.
And a quite younger one?
Yeah.
Like a bit of an age gap? Yeah. You were given him for a very interesting reason. He was there to protect you. He was gifted to you intentionally. He's an intelligent kid as well, man. Like, he is so onto it. And that's all you. Like, you did that. And him. We'll give him some credit. But you did that. You received him at a really difficult point in your life. And so they're going, hey, you will be keeping him. This is what you need. And he absolutely changed you for the better. Absolutely. He's off doing his own thing, it feels like, though. He feels like a little bit older, like he's going through life and like, all right, mum, it's me now. I need to focus on me. I've done my job. We'll come back and do this again. But I need to be independent now. So I can see him sort of off he goes doing his thing. Whereas your youngest, he's spiritual, very out there, very lover of life, a healer like you. So he's got that gift too. What I'll say with the healing stuff, you will always attract the broken. That's what healers do. We can't help it. It's not intentional, but it's what we do. You have to make sure that you're receiving the people that come into your life, friendships, romantic relationships, we're receiving them as what they are. So we have to categorize them. Is this a healing relationship or is this a relationship? And a lot of the time it's healing relationships with you, a lot with your clients and your customers, but a lot with your, I'll say romantically, you've attracted a lot of broken. That's what I will say. Can I ask you, are you in a relationship now?
Yes.
You are?
Yes.
Okay. The ex, because there's an ex, there's a major ex, enough that I have to talk about him. I felt he was somebody who was a broken person as well. And that's why he saw you this light. And so he attached himself to you. And the way I'll describe it is you're this beautiful big red balloon and you're floating along in life, happy, happy, happy. And then there's someone that attaches to your balloon and slowly drags you down. And if you let it, you'll touch the floor. And that's where we kind of can't get back up from there. We're sort of broken in. And that's what he was doing. He was sort of dragging you down and you were coming down as well. You were, you didn't mean to, but your love for him was coming down to his level. And he did enough damage to you that you really, it's like you really felt that was your lot in life. And then severing that relationship, it was like, whew, off you go again. And it was like, I actually wanted to take a deep breath myself. I feel this huge sigh of relief. I'm where I'm meant to be. I feel happy again. And that's where you have been your best self, is when you were detached from all of those yuckies that were in your life, all those brokens, all the mum story, the partners or whatever, even friendships I see have broken away. And it's interesting as well. You'll notice how much more successful you are when those people aren't in your life. These people have their hands out. They've always wanted something from you. Friends as well on this one too. So I'm just going to say this to you now, because there's still one or two around that have their hand out, which is, I want something from you. Your success. That's what I want. How can I get it? Can I get it money? Can I get it in things? Can I get it in exchanges and conversations? So just be mindful. There's I'd say two takers still lingering around you. So just be mindful. No one in the room that you're in now. Yeah.
Good to know.
So I see just you two just were growing in a really different direction. That's all. There's nothing wrong in that. You just grew in different directions. Yeah. I don't know how to word that. Our womb space, that's where I'm drawn to with you. Your womb has taken like an incredible amount of trauma itself, not just in childbirth, but like pre-childbirth. They keep wanting to go before we've had babies. And usually that trauma comes from after we've had babies, but not with you, before trauma. Like that. I just want to do that. Like, that's what I want to do. Something's happened here, and that's what I feel like. I'm almost bent over, like I'm actually in quite a bit of pain. And then we've had children, and so something's happened. This is where you try to connect the dots, but there's something's happened here. Your womb space is in dire need of some healing, like absolute healing. I don't know if you've ever heard of yoni steaming, where they have all those herbs and they make this awesome concoction, and you have to sit on this chair while it's really, really good for you. So also would recommend you get a bit of a Reiki healing going there as well. And rose quartz, interesting, as your favorite stone, is really good for womb healing. Okay. But so much has happened there. And it's actually also a point of where your stress targets as well. So that's caused some issues in your life too. But something's happened, because I keep wanting to do this, something's happened. Yeah. Like I'm seeing like a clenched fist. I don't know if that's like punched, or I don't know what that means, but I'm feeling like someone's just hit me. Yeah. It's hard because you got the raw end of the stick early on in life, and then you put your trust into somebody, and then, again, I'm frustrated. I feel annoyed. I feel frustrated, and it's hard to voice those things, because who's listening? Who's really listening? Who really gets it? The only people that get it are people that have gone through it. The rest just can observe. It's a frustrating feeling to sit in. You've gone through I can see you've gone through a huge transformation in your life, like night and day. Version that you were versus the version that you are now. Wow. And we love that version. That version got us here. But I can see you going, I've had enough of that now. I'm okay in removing this layer and being this version now. I love this version of me. And I can see you a lot more in tune with who you are. And you're attracting the right people now in your life, even in clients as well. You're attracting the right people because you vibrate differently now. You're not sort of a broken version of yourself, and you were for a really long time. It's almost like you were trying to tick everybody else's boxes, and then really what you wanted didn't come into it. You couldn't prioritize you. It was just doing what everybody else wanted, and that was never going to serve you for a long time. Yeah. Did you nearly have, you had a near-death experience, I want to say? There's been a near-death with you. Yeah. I just want to say this. You're meant to be here long term. It was good. It was a good shake-up. That's what I'll say. It's horrific. We don't want those moments, but it was a good thing for you. It's almost like you've gone, actually, I needed that. It's like shaking a snow globe. Once it all settles, we actually know what we're supposed to be doing. That was a positive experience, believe it or not, and set you off in a different direction. And then I can see you getting rid of people out of your life after that, which was needed. You're very loyal. You'll keep people, you'll do everything you can to make those relationships work, everything you can. Whereas now you'll go, hey, look, if it doesn't fit, sweet as, it's all good, we'll let you go. No, we're not going to force what doesn't fit. That was a good moment for you. And I mean that respectfully, of course, obviously, because it would be extremely traumatic, but it was what you needed. It was really what you needed. The birth of your children. 1, 2. You said you've got 2 boys, eh?
Yeah.
There was supposed to be a third somewhere along the lines. I feel like there was supposed to be a third, but that's okay. I just want to say this, and I don't want to go where I shouldn't, but I'm just going to say this. The child that didn't make it through is actually with you. They just joined your spirit team, and I can see them waving out like, hey, I'm here, I'm with you. Like, they never really left you. And they understood that they weren't supposed to come through in that moment, but they've never gone. Yeah. I don't want to put a gender. It was a little boy, and that's how I see him. He's just standing right beside you. Very quirky kid though, very funny. It's almost like your boy, the little one that you've got now, has really taken on the attributes that that child would have had. So in a way, in a roundabout way, you've got that child with you, as I say, in a roundabout way. But yeah, they've just joined your team. They're with you all the time. Okay, like, we understand that we're not always going to come through Earthside, but how cool to have them on that team. You'll meet each other up again. You'll see each other again. Yeah. You very, very protective of your kids. Very protective of your kids. Like, I would be too scared to cross the line with you with your kids. You know, this is where the line is. I may be working on my boundaries, but my boundaries for my kids are very set in stone. Yeah, very, very, very good with them. Yeah, your kids love you. Your youngest and you, I feel like you're like the same person. It's quite funny because you can have a friendship with a child. Like, we're not taught that that's a thing, but it is. Like, it is a thing. Yeah, very, very cool relationships there. Yeah, don't put too much pressure on the oldest to, like, be someone or be here or do this. He's actually just enjoying the freedom, and by giving him that is actually really supporting him as a person. Yes, it would be cool to like merge that, but he's totally comfortable where he is, and he knows what he wants to do. And when he does actually show up and put his time into things, that's intentional. He's a good boy. Yeah. I'm not sure if he's got it yet, but love is around him too. I'm going to hate when my kids go to that stage. Yeah, love is around him as well. Yeah. Back to your healing. Your healing is very, very much your spiritual gift here in this world, and I can see you doing that with your work. So you're very good at healing clients. It's very similar to what I do, I'm going to say, and it's where you've found your greatest purpose is in helping people, and you're touching people's lives constantly. And again, back into your words. So your words play a part in your work, yes, but actually it's actually you living out your purpose. You were always meant to do roles of healing, and if it wasn't this, it would be something else. And it's interesting that you do a podcast because you're healing people, again, through your words. So you're always finding avenues where you can reach people just to help them. You're a very, very genuine person, a very generous person. You would give the shirt off your back. It doesn't matter who you're dealing with. You treat everybody equally, which is a very rare gift to have. Not a lot of people have that these days. Yeah, there's something very likable about you. It's just because you're just pure. You're just exactly who you say you are. I can see you're not fond of having your time wasted, but in turn, you would never waste anybody else's time. You've gotten comfortable with being more direct, whereas before people would say, hey, that's aggressive. And you're going, actually, no, I'm just I'm just stating my boundaries. I'm communicating my needs, and you're getting real comfortable in being in that side of yourself, which suits you. Yeah. I do see you meeting some new relationships this year, friendships. Be open to that, because you have such a tight circle, and I can understand now why, because so many people haven't been very true to you throughout the years. I can see you have a tight circle, but I can see you just expanding on that slightly. This will be a good thing too, by the way. So be open to new friendships. There's a lot to be put back in with you. It's almost like a karmic cycle. Those who weren't good, we're going to replace them with people who are. And then expansion on career. I'm not sure what your plans are there, but big expansion on the career front. Bigger, getting bigger. I'm going to do more with it. Very, very, very exciting. Totally, utterly on the right path. And I hope you know that. You're exactly where you need to be in life. Yeah. So.
Oh my gosh. Amazing.
Okay.
Amazing.
I hope that resonates.
Cool. It's like I was like, how do you know all that? Like how? Like so spot on.
Thank you. It's just having people come through for you. It's just connecting in with your team and just saying, right, what does she need to hear? What is it? Yeah. I just don't feel like you were really here. You're a great person. You're doing an amazing job. And I'm talking in the home, you know, and just in ourselves. You're an amazing mum. You know, sometimes it doesn't really sit like you are. You're all these amazing things, and I just don't feel like you hear it near enough from those that matter anyway, if I can say that. Yeah, you're freaking cool. You're a cool person, that's for sure.
You're a cool person. Can I just say, when Kat, the producer, is showing me the time stamps of literally when what was the first one? When you started talking about signs of spirituality. When I first started talking about signs of spirituality, it was at the 2:34. It was 12:34. 12 minutes 34. When then at 2:34 is when you answered about the number 34. And then the reading began. And then when you started reading, we were at 34 minutes in the podcast. It was just like, the producers were like looking at me going, we were chatting about all this 34, and the 34 just kept on popping up as soon as like when we were talking about 34. It was just wild. So
but now we just need a crow. So open the window.
Now we need a crow to walk in.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, apparently there were crows crowing in the background in the car park.
Oh, brilliant!
Cat saying so. I reckon you'll be able to hear it. We'll be able to hear it in the audio, they reckon. So.
Oh, good. I'll keep an eye out. Or hear it.
It's oh my gosh, honestly. Yeah, I've got two boys. The eldest is extremely intelligent. He's a spatial learner, so he sees things as pictures. So he can literally, Jace can, if you give him any word, he can spell it front ways, back ways. You can say, what's the fourth number? What's the seventh number? Like words that are ridiculously long. And he's just, such a bright spark and super emotionally intelligent. He was such a rock for me during my divorce. And then my youngest Rafi, he's absolutely my mini, and we're peas in a pod. We sleep in the same room. We just are so attached to each other. We've just been literally joined at the hip, especially as his brother grows up and turns 15, going on he's going into grade 11 this year, and he's just really found his feet, and he's got his own stuff going on. So as that happens, there's been a real divide, but I'm very, very protective and super close with both of them.
Dad, is his dad local to you?
We've both kids, both the same dad.
Okay, cool. I'm just going to say this. I'm going to skim past it, but I'm just going to say a friendship will form. Yeah. Not anytime soon, but it will form. A lot of pain there, a lot of discomfort there, all of those things. It will happen. He's very, very stubborn, and you hurt him, but really he hurt you. But in his head, you hurt me. So he will get through that, and there will be a friendship. And actually, you guys are really good friends when you're clear-headed, when the emotions are out of it. You're actually really good friends. That'll come later. later, but it'll come. Yeah. Anyway,
Amazing.
sorry.
Good news. That's good news. That's good. That's a positive. Okay. Oh my gosh. I've got to move on to the next segment. So I need a stiff drink, to be honest. Actually, we're gonna leave the questions out because honestly, we've got so much there.
Oh wow. Okay, fair enough.
Oh my gosh. So we're going to end it there, and I can't thank you enough for coming on to the show today. I'm sure the listeners will be knowing my story. They'll hear what you had to say and literally be mind blown.
They'll be ripping me apart, no doubt. They'll be going, if you miss something, we'll know about it.
Mind blown. So honestly, thank you so much. And thank you so much for taking the time away from your family on your trip. And I can't wait to keep following you now that I know of your existence and hearing what you have to say. Your page just offers so much light. So thank you for coming on. And thanks for the live reading. It really means a lot. And I'm still shook. I'm actually shaking, and I'm gonna have to do the outro without falling apart. But I will speak to you next time. Thank you so much, Hayley.
No worries. Thank you for having me. It was absolute honor. I'm so glad the stars have aligned for us today, I tell you.
Absolutely, it was meant to be, and we'll definitely put all your info in the show notes so people can contact you and have a reading of their own. But yeah, no, thank you so much. Bye, Hayley.
Bye.
All right, guys, that is a wrap for this week's episode. I am honestly blown away. I can't believe that just happened. And what a talent. And I'm going to go look into that side of myself that could possibly be a healer as well, and have a bit of my own abilities. So that's pretty interesting. We normally finish with our segments Words to Live Your Week by, love letters, and flashback faves. But since this episode was so juicy and long, we'll leave them out today, and we'll pick them back up next week. But thank you so much for listening. I hope you loved that episode. And as always, we'd love to hear your feedback. We will speak to you next week. Thanks so much. Bye.
I don't want just anybody.